Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Super Robot Wars Archives. My name is Austin. I'm glad you've joined me for this episode of Super Robot Wars Alpha. We just left our previous military base, Combattler, now recently acquired, and we are off to the Tokyo Bay to go have our main character unit, the Grungust, presumably the Huckabee if we had taken the real route, to get some like tune-ups or inspections from another good doctor. So let's see where that takes us today. We finished all the preparations last scenario, so we'll jump right in. I'm very excited. So we're getting to one of my favorite series. Finally, it's also a series I get to say that I've actually seen. Oh, sorry. I guess not quite yet. We have a small little vignette ahead of time, or right before then. Duo is sort of keeping logs digitally of what's been going on. That I think the rest of the team is like maybe a little bit suspect about. They're questioning his like what he's up to, which feels like that tracks with what we know about the wing pilot. So maybe he's been sent by his like doctor that helped make the Death Scythe. And he's like reporting back everything that's going on. So it looks suspicious, but he just like is theoretically supposed to keep it a secret in the way that I complained about last scenario, where it's just like everything needs to be secret because it'll be a reveal when we find out that actually it was totally fine the whole time. Some of the pilots are like talking about, you know, whether they're gonna like hang back and like do some like tune-ups on their robots, like do some checks before we like actually have to encounter any of like more resistance. I think probably with a little bit of a motivation for maybe like just making sure everything's on the up and up with Duo, making sure something isn't like really weird. Here we are being asked whether we're gonna go along with what Koji's doing. And if we do, this is where expert point comes in. I'm really hoping we are going to get some more like actual combat expert points soon. It's a little disappointing how many of these have just been like pick the right dialogue option, though it's theoretically making the game harder. I would love to know how. Like, is everyone increasing their stats by a certain amount? Is it like threshold based, where it's like if you have 5 expert points by this point, the scenario looks like this, versus if you had lower than 5, it looks like this, something like that. So I guess I don't mind in principle that we're getting really easy ones to answer to like modulate our difficulty what we want it to be, but I would like to see some more like ones that require us to do some challenge in the game, and I'm sure they're coming. Okay, well, so while I was reading this part of the story, I was reading over the name Eri. I'm like, who is this? I don't remember there being an Eri in Giant Robo. And fortunately, I guess I was right, because this Eri does not look like a character that I recognize. I think she might be an original character. So we have these two who are like the side characters of Giant Robo, who are friends with Daisaku, the main character. We're probably going to get to use Ginrei for better or for worse. I think she's a really interesting character in the show, but when she has access to her Ginrei Giant Robo, the manga that it comes from is like very dehumanizing for her. It's like really pretty painfully sexist. So I don't love, you know, that we're necessarily using that, but hopefully, given how well the story is done so far, hopefully we will refresh her access to that robot and make it more canon with the rest of the TV show, where she actually gets to like be a real person. But speaking of Ginrei, she was just recently in China and was unearthing some ruins there. The like general plot for Giant Robo is we have a lot of these like really important, powerful, intelligent, capable individuals representing different countries, both good and evil, all sort of working in their own factions to try and like break the stalemate that they keep having with each other. For like a really brief summary. So Ginrei was over in China, trying to uncover some like ancient like artifact, tool, or magic they could use, and she discovered something that was like more significant than just like a really basic weapon. Presumably what I'm assuming is going to be her Ginrei Robo. But she gets kidnapped. Eri, the other woman we also saw, was theoretically kidnapped. She tried to like protect Eri, but like let me check my notes if she got kidnapped or not too. Um I think my translation's a little ambiguous on that, but regardless of the point, it's not actually the point was not actually about the kidnapping. It was to try and draw out uh, the giant Robo, so they could like start trying to figure out how to fight it. Again, like I was asking last time, we are seeing a couple of squads, a couple of different like enemy factions working together. So Dr. Hell is also aligned themselves with BF or Big Fire. That's the enemy group from Giant Robo. Big Fire has Dr. Hell trying to do some analysis on the Giant Robo, on the weapon that Ginrei was looking into, and potentially the Shin Getter. There are two other major players in Big Fire we're going to see in a second, Ivan and Albert. The two of them stole some information. It was the same thing that Hayato was passing off to Oka when we got to the base before. It was about the Shin Getter robot. And they're also trying to do something roughly similar with the Grungust and the Huckabine from the local military base, presumably where we're going to go get the Grungust inspected. And then also with Nerve. So it looks, and Big Fire in their series had a like really large contingent of really powerful robots. And it feels like they're trying to like keep that going here, where rather than going through power with a lot of like small armed military factions, they want to gather like the best of the best. So they're trying to grab and shore up a lot of their access to these really powerful robots, but not just to be able to take over the world or whatever it is they're going to be doing with them. But Albert and Ivan note that it is also to be able to have enough power to push back against Dr. Hell too. They don't like fully trust him, so they want to be able to at least feel secure that they're not going to get backstabbed. So exactly what I was asking for last scenario. Very good. Albert in particular is a character that has some like not necessarily fully committed alliances to Big Fire. This is a slight spoiler that I know, unfortunately, or fortunately, yeah, I guess just fully unfortunately, that he is a playable character. We will actually get access to him at some point in the game. So clearly his alliances are not going to stay fully aligned. So beautiful, so good. Oh, they really did the Giant Robo so cleanly here. It's pretty rough looking in 64. I'm glad it got a second life in Alpha here. Oh, that's so nice. But yeah. So we have Daisaku on the Giant Robo right now. To my knowledge, so based on the translation that I'm reading, they're making it sound like the Giant Robo was originally a Big Fire robot. That has then been stolen and repurposed to fight against them. I don't remember if that's true in the show. How and what Giant Robo is a bit of a spoiler for that series, so I won't like go too hard into it. And like where exactly it comes from in relationship to that's kind of getting a little tangled in my head. So I can follow up on that if someone doesn't get me in the comments first. But at the very least, I think this plot is taking it that this was like a unit that the good guys have now grabbed from Big Fire to try and help fight back. It's a defensive monster. If I said 1600 was really tanky before, this thing is 1900. It is like the definition of like can take a hit and keep going. It also has a beam coat, so like that a second time. I really wish we could see this on the sprite. It would be like really tiny and hard to do. It even has potential, so it's even better. I don't even know how much investment it's actually going to need because of that. Sorry, yeah, I really wish you could see this on the sprite, but Daisaku does not actually drive this thing. It's a little watch that he can talk into, and he usually just like hangs off the side of its head, or if it's been like damaged enough, he'll just like sit in the damaged portion of the robot. But like he's outside of it, and this boy knows no fear. Where some versions of like this kind of trope, like Tetsujin, he's like off somewhere far away. Not far away, but he's like not like near the robot. Where Daisaku's like, I don't care that I don't have a suit. I'm gonna be standing in the middle of things anyway. Oh boy. Okay. What do we got for combat? We got four. I was gonna say this like 1,000 damage attack is like pretty standard, but 40 ammo of it is good. We're never gonna run out. Yeah, so we're probably never going to need to get resupplied this entire time. This 2,500 power punch that has no cost to it is probably going to save the day a lot. We just like need to like we really need to like layer this thing down, layer this thing up. Nope, there's a better expression. Load this thing down, suit up with as much movement as we can possibly give it. Because I guess the downside here is, it's a really good attack, but we don't have really far reach. But otherwise, we have like we got a lot of really far range here. This is the rocket bazooka. 1 to 7 range is better than a battleship. It does take us to get to 10 morale. It does take us getting 10 more morale, but I imagine we're probably going to get a spirit at the spirit at some point. And 3 ammo of it's not nothing. Oh, and once we get up to 130, this is also like an infinite use, really powerful attack. Yeah, no, I think the giant robo's going to get a lot of use. It's one of the ones I was looking forward to, and I'm glad it does not disappoint. Also, the fact that Daisaku starts with Bullseye is just exquisite. Let's see that punch again. I guess we could theoretically look at the enemy, but I don't think it's going to matter. Like, this game does not see... Yeah, you can see the watch here. You can see the watch that he talks into here. His voice is so silly. It's so, like, cute and... like... unfitting for the circumstance. It's rare that he's not screaming in the anime. Oh yeah, so what I was gonna say was that like this game does not really have the support for like barrier piercing or like defense down quite yet. I guess defense down would work, but like a lot of its defensive profile is coming just from its stats, not from any of its abilities. So like even then you wouldn't be able to do very much about it. We did take a lot more damage than I was expecting though. I guess maybe we should hold on. How powerful are you? I guess it's 2150 power. Okay. Yeah, that's the sort of thing that the Getter was using before, that it was like cleaving off 4,000 HP. So yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, we'll just keep sitting here slugging it out. I guess we can turn that animation off after this one. My only complaint is that this show does not have good music. It doesn't have bad music. It fits the tone of it, but it's not the same way that you're like getting geared up as you hear the opening from a like regular shonen show, you know? But I think that ultimately fits with, hold on. That drill sound is so loud. That's probably gonna like, I adjusted my audio on recording before, but that's probably still gonna come through badly. Oh yeah, but this like very like big band, very like almost political, like you hear like at a rally or like an election style music, I think fits with the more somber, less bombastic, like less like valor, hero, bravery oriented kind of story, as opposed to the like going off to die, like war is terrible, violence is a thing we should avoid. I guess we probably didn't actually need to heal. We could have waited to try and get the potential to make that even less dangerous. I suppose we could have been moving this whole time. Just a little bit, like we should have moved over here. I think this will get us like one space closer to where a lot of the rest of the action is going to happen. Small optimization, it's not a big deal. But yeah, no, it's much more sobering, the tone of this show. So like I think the music matches that. It just is like not, you know, I'm not like hankering to try and get this music back on in the way that I am for, say, like the Getter theme, or when we get Cruel Angel's Thesis later. That did take a number of turns to get that to go down. I guess 8,200 HP is also like not nothing. This will be considerably more impactful when we see the usual fare of like 2,000 to 3,000 HP. Almost a full level, 3 points short of a full level, so we'll level up probably next combat too. There's Albert and Ivan. I actually don't remember what Ivan's role was in this series. I know that he wasn't like the big boss of the show. The big boss does reveal himself later. Oh yeah, okay, I remember his sort of like Darumaka doll. His Daruma doll, the same thing that the Pokemon Darumaka is modeled after. I don't love that we're getting more of these. Like, this is not in keeping with how Giant Robo works, but I guess it's fine for the purposes of the game. Yeah, this was Uranus. Alright, show what you got. Seeing as I can't do anything, like that, I had to do that, and that had to end my turn. So, how much healthier are you than the boss character? Oh, okay, no, that's yeah, we can probably do this without any backup. So given that we should. We'll probably get the rest of the squad. Yeah, okay. We'll save that thought for a second. Yeah, people are just surprised to see that like Daisaku is, you know, not in the robot. Yeah, so who do we get with? It's Grungus, Duo. Oh, interesting that Duo came with. I would have assumed he was going to stay back. So maybe what I was reading about, like, how I was reading into Camille maybe wanting to stay back was misattributed. Koji, Combattler, and Sayaka. Not that we really want Sayaka here, but fine. Yeah, so what I was going to say was we should check. Oh, the gyro was even better on the ground. So we should land and like get up on this building to give ourselves even more tankiness. Let's punch somebody that wasn't already hit. Oh, I guess we haven't seen that attack yet. That's fine. I really love how alien Uranus looks. I think the designs for pretty much all of the Giant Robo robots are really, really well made. There are more from the manga, and there are more from the live-action TV show that really don't get used for the anime. Or the anime doesn't really make use out of them. They show up in like some like quick montages. Hopefully, we'll get to see some of them here. What would have been preferable if we had been on this house, so we would have had there would have been no input or like no adjacent enemies, but that's fine. I'm hoping that these are going to stay in place because they have somebody in range. So I think we're just going to keep punching this one. That's a bummer. And then when we see... I guess we just like didn't use this crew at all. I don't think we need to. Because I'm not being particular about like ending fast. I think we're just gonna leave this here for the Giant Robo to finish these all up. Yeah, okay. We get to see both this attack, and we also get to see what Uranus looks like now. And it's like very counter to how I normally play, but I know I wanted to use the Giant Robo, so like I would like to get some investment into it ahead of time. And I'm not sure how much faster it would go if we distract with the like rest of the squad. And we can move them in probably close enough and pull the Giant Robo back if we need to like help help fighting Uranus. Yeah, that did practically nothing, and we didn't block. Yeah, I didn't clock exactly how much movement it had. We should look at that next. I love these shoulder missiles. I think they're so cool. But I think as I've spent more time in and around things like Mazinger, I am liking more the robot that doesn't look like it has any weapons on it, that just like things unfold out of its body. As opposed to say, not that I dislike this design in Gundam, but as opposed to say like the design that Gundam has where you can like see pretty much all their equipment on them. I fast forward this? No, I can't. That's a shame. I mean, I could literally fast forward it, but I can't do that. But we can turn these off. But they did also stay in place because they were in combat. But like melee just like flying past you is like definitely has me in a chuckle. Go, smash it. I'm surprised how many attacks they worked out for this game, seeing as, like, we don't even have the same level of, like, usual supers where you, like, call out the attack name as you're doing it. It's just sort of like, Giant Robo, smash the thing. I think we'll probably still get at least one more attack, the, like, fire everything attack. We'll see, unless I just like fully misread one of these. But like, because this is like a large bazooka shot. I think we'll still just use the punch. Where we can't arrow up to wrap it back around. That's fine. But there is at least a spot where Daisaku's just like fire everything when they're inside something. I guess I shouldn't say because that's spoilers. Sorry. When at the end of the series, and like SLW games really love doing that with like a lot of the ranged characters. They'll like just unload on them. Also, how big is this building that we're able to stand on top of it? Because Giant Robo is in fact giant. I wonder if we're double large. Well, I'll look at so I'll look at size and movement after this. Like this thing is so loud comparatively. Like I don't want to turn my audio down anymore because I feel like you can't hear the rest of the noise, but just like the screeching of these things is. I at least have to think about it because if we're going to be using this thing like full time, you know. I don't want that like cutting over all of my talks, all my conversation all the time. Cool. Yes, I think after this turn, we'll bring everybody in. Oh, hold on. Okay, we still haven't used this yet, so I guess we can look at this one. I just turned off for one, but it's fine. Yeah, because the missiles we used before were like the shoulder ones. That was a 1600 power attack. Yeah, there you go. We don't really have a lot much more to do with the story right now. Like, we have another group that's been introduced, Big Fire. Um, but other than just like knowing that they have like potentially contracted Dr. Hell a little bit, we don't really have much of their like stakes in the story. But look how cool this is. I love it. It feels really smart to utilize. Oh boy, that does damage. Oh golly, why does that do so much? Okay, we gotta look at why that did so much. I know it crit, but still. That feels like we did disproportionately more there. For only what was like 200 more power. Are we actually more ranged than melee focus? I think of melee when I think of Giant Robo, but maybe we are ranged. Holy cow, I think that's the most damage we've done. Okay. We are size L. 6 movement is like it's not nothing. No, we're pretty well tied. And that's still an A on the ground. That's wild how much more that did. Huh. I'm not understanding, like, what am I not understanding here? Because that's only 300 more power, and we were doing like 24 to like 3,000. That just did like 6,800. I'm pretty like crits in these games are usually like 1.25 times, not like Fire Emblem style crits where it was like 2 or 3 times damage, right? All right. I won't complain. Like, I'm not complaining. I just want to know why to do it again. I guess we can look at this now that we've like kind of scanned it. 26,000 money that's a ton of funds. And I don't think we have anyone with fortune yet. Okay, so we just need to be out of 6 range to make sure we need to be more than 6 spaces away. Yeah. So which I think we can just go here and then we can bring everybody else forward. Which I recognize we could have done sooner, but you know, sometimes I'm not always about efficiency. I wonder if this is the only part to this stage. Some of these are going like really quickly, which I'm not necessarily opposed to. I would be a little sad for all of y'all if we're getting just like a half-hour episode, but like if that's what we're given, that's what we're given. But I do like these like more self-contained kind of episodes where like we don't even have the full squad available to us, right? Like we didn't select these. This is a really small contingent group. Okay, depending on how this separates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, if we had gotten. Yeah, if the battle tank. Okay, that's easy. Yeah, if the battle tank had been where the battle Kudasha, where if the battle tank had been where the battle crusher was. Let's just try keep separating and see if it's always the same position. It is. Okay, so theoretically the combattler would have needed to have been here had we separated, and the battle crusher could have been here to get that 6 range attack off. This might still just be lethal anyway. Not lethal, probably, actually. So let's have duo attack. Also, why couldn't this hit it back? Oh, this only has 1 range. Okay. That's what I get for just like staying in place and like sort of like mashing at it. Wasn't even paying attention. Yeah, okay, cool. Then we can finish up with the combattler. We're gonna give the Uranus to the Giant Robo if we can help it. So let's double EXP here to make up for what we didn't get last time with Garuda. Finding who has double funds, finding whoever has fortune or a bless. Getting willpower is really good for them. That's really relevant. Now, I think that's the second one they have access to. That's almost jumping them to their best attacks right away, which I was not expecting to be able to do this early on into the game. We can take a hit. Yeah, that barely does anything. Then we can get the Aphrodite up here, and we can probably heal next turn. Totally fine. But yeah, seeing how valuable we've had, like a couple battleships that have been 8,000, and the fact that this is theoretically 26,000. If we can find someone with fortune early on, and we can like try and level them into fortune early on, that would be a real blessing. Do you get it? I'm so funny. Have a bullseye. I do want to move. I do still want to move adjacent here, though, for the future, so we can, like, be ready for the super punch. But we can use the other rocket bazooka next turn. We probably don't even need to. I know we didn't, like, talk about this thing's design very much. Maybe we will do the giant robots. The giant robots next when we do the, like Austin art analysis after streams, because like it's very deliberate what that thing looks like, and I think it's very smart how they picked their robots in Giant Robo. It is very thoughtful and very well made. Yeah, we'll still give you a punch, and then okay. It's not lethal. I thought that was. We could have killed it that turn, but I kind of want to wait till this turn. Just because if we have more of a scenario to go, also you can just be... we'll put you in the water. It's probably fine. Because if we have more of a scenario to go, I want the rest of the team to be able to respond to it. Let's see what this looks. We'll use a bullseye, because that'd be pretty lame if that missed. This is definitely going to be lethal. Well, let's see what it looks like. Maybe this is just the end. Maybe this is just a really short stage. For editing purposes, I would not be upset about that. At least this would also, yeah, this should be premiering a time when I'm streaming more. So at least you get more Austin content around it by having just longer streams. It's fine. Oh, yeah, right. This is where we don't shoot the laser out of it. It actually like fires like the large missile that it is. That's so much. I wonder if we're gonna see him show back up, because like it's pretty typically in Giant Robo, they never fight enemies more than once, because the series, it's only like 12 episodes. It's at most 12 episodes long. It might only be like 8. Yeah, I watched it in a day. You could probably really easily get through it in one go. Okay, I think I saw 18,000 from that. So do we only get 2/3 of whatever money they're showing? That would be different than how it's worked every other time. That looks like that's just the end. That was just a really short scenario. Okay, that's fine. Cool. Oh, but we also don't get to keep it right now, or at least as far as the narrative is saying. Maybe we get to like keep it mechanically, but he's not like necessarily with us, and he's just gonna show up for the next couple battles. But Hayato here, the pilot of the Getter, knows that Giant Robo and its designer had gone missing. So they're like, we're putting together the pieces that this is like theoretically a robot that has been like in the news as far as our organization, our community has gone. So at the very least, we need to like pay it mind and like try to keep track of it if we see it. It's like it is probably a force, as demonstrated by its ludicrous damage, if damage is like an indication of power scaling in this world. It's probably a force that people are going to be interested in seeing. But Bright, at least being the like very no nonsense, down to business general that he is like, or commander that he is like, okay, that's great, that's cool. We can like maybe put that on the back burner, but a lot of stuff has happened, and we have been given an objective that is like a thing we know to be the case, rather than we have speculated to be the case. So we should all, let's be professionals and like pay attention to that. Which is again, exactly what I was asking for, right? We have heroes who are in conflict with each other. We have this like conflict triangle of Hayato, who's like, he seems to be very much a machine head. He's also the character that was like, oh, we have the Shin Getter plans. We should bring those over to the lab. That he's like invested in the larger scale of the world and the robots in it. We have Daisaku, who's like kind of on everyone's mind. Big Fire is interested in him, and because of that, he's been made aware to by Dr. Hell. They have made Dr. Hell aware of him, who is sort of orchestrating right now at least half of the villains that we're like fighting against. Maybe all of them, depending on how much control we think Baron Asura has over his like conversations with the Xeon Titan Alliance. And then like the rest of our group who is thinking things are going to be, you know, who is used to the more professional side of things. So probably like Quattro, Emma. I guess that's like kind of it though. We're mostly just kids right now. We do not bring a lot of adults with us. Oh, I guess Roberto and Apoli also. But like none of the doctors have come with us. None of the generals have come with us. We are pretty well just that couple of people who are like used to being like professional military, military professionals. Pretty short scenario. That was like a really fun introduction to Giant Robo though. We definitely got to like show off its power. Because if we thought we were doing a lot before, good gracious, has it put to shame pretty much any of the rest of the work that we've been doing. I hope the game like keeps scaling up in difficulty, because other like if we had that power of the Giant Robo, any of the previous scenarios, as easy as they were, they would have been like snooze-worthy effortless. So I'm hoping we are going to be asked to like think and need to apply that well. I'm really surprised how usable it is a lot of times in the shows. I wish I could like actually hold on. Let's make sure we can't put it up on screen that I didn't just like super misread this. No, we cannot. Okay. That's it. They said it ran away. I just wanted to make sure. But in the show, it's not like it doesn't have these like really long drawn out dog fights or these like big slug punch fight, like Dragon Ball Z style spectaculars, right? It's like one attack and done, or like maybe gets like one attack, gets counterattacked, comes back with something else. So I was expecting it to be like really, really resource hungry, that it's going to have a lot of single use attacks. It has a couple of them, but I was expecting them to be a lot more. Or, you know, when I was looking at the Super Punch, the like 3800 power one, I originally clocked that as it took 130 energy, not be at 130 morale. I figured it was going to be like, yeah, technically you could use this more than once, but you'd have to invest into it really heavily if you want to get 2 uses out of it. Or like have to spend some resources, like use a propellant tank or something. But no, you just get to keep swinging with that, which, like, mechanically, I mean, obviously mechanically it's very strong. It might be too strong. But it's very much not what I was expecting from having watched the show. But I'm delighted to be able to add it to my team whenever that shows up. But I also don't hate the fact that it's not with us right now. It resolves part of my story issue where we had a question and then that question lasted for a very little bit of time and then we resolved it immediately. The direction that Bright is pushing us to be like, hi people, please like stay focused, like stay on topic. Feels like this is an intentional loose end that we're gonna have to wait to follow up on later. I'm hoping that's the case. I would like that to be true. I wouldn't mind the idea of the Giant Robo popping in and out like every so often, especially if we get like a scenario that's like particularly dire where it feels like we're getting overwhelmed, and like just as we're getting overwhelmed, the Giant Robo shows up. Like that's gonna feel real sick. That's gonna feel real cool if we're like at dire straits and we like see this thing that we know can probably clean the scenario on its own show up just at the moment we need it. Like that's gonna be peak. I'm hoping that's what we do, and we don't just like well, if we see them, we'll follow up on it, but stay focused, and we just all happen to go to the same place next scenario. Like, that would take the wind out of my sails a little bit. But yeah, we are still cooking with gas, fam. This is, again, incredible. I think I'm also just a little bit hyped to see a series not only that I recognize, but one that I don't really get, like, that we don't get to use a lot of, right? It's only in, I thought it was only in 64, but it's also in this one, obviously, but it's only in Alpha and 64, that's it. Due to some, like, weird licensing information, which we could talk about some more when we have some downtime. But this has definitely gotten me hyped for the next scenario. So look forward to that whenever that comes out. But if you can't wait for more Super Robot Wars content in the meantime, I've got lots more going on. As of we're recording this, we have the Y playthrough that's probably just getting close to wrapping up, if not having wrapped up already. I will be LTCing on whatever Friday that Alpha doesn't come out on. As of right now, again, that's also Y, but I think we're probably going to be switching to something even older than Alpha soon, just so I don't like burn myself out on Y. And then if you thought the giant Robo was powerful, you can have the opposite of that and join me on Mondays or the Monday VODs with GC, Super Robot Wars GC generics, and good golly, are we probably a third of the way through the game and no one's come close to doing 6,000 points of damage yet. But regardless of what you do choose to watch, I appreciate that you're here. Thank you for sticking around. You definitely make this feel a lot more worth it to me. I'm glad that I have an audience that is also as excited as I am to be interacting with these games. Thank you so much for being here. If I don't see you in the VODs, hopefully I will see you live. But regardless, enjoy the rest of your day, and please go make some eating out of it. Thank you.